Okay, out here on the west side of our house here in Eastland, Texas, I'm going to make a brief video of our solar system, how our solar system is set up. Of course, the panels are up there on the roof. A better picture of those is the one that's on the cover of the YouTube chapter, or the YouTube channel, excuse me. It's got a picture. I was actually standing on the roof about that point up there and took a picture back toward the panels, and you can see all 6 of the panels really well. The power comes from the panels. They're tied together. 2 panels will make one 65 volt. They're 32.5 volt panels, so you tie 2 together and make a 65 volt circuit. And so I've tied them 3 groups of 2 panels together to make 3 65 volt circuits, and then they are tied together in a combiner box, which is up in the attic. And then I bring one single 65 volt circuit into where my charge controller and batteries are. Now that comes through the attic and it comes down this conduit, this piece of conduit here, into the ground. And it goes underground over there to the garage, which is where the system is located. For anybody who's wondering, yes, there are power lines here. There's power lines all through this town, you know, and the house did have electricity when we moved into it. But as you can see right here, okay, there is no meter and there is no wire going from the meter loop into the breaker panel. Those wires are gone. I took those wires out, I disconnected them, pulled them out, and they're gone. These wires here are the public utility side. They are hot right now, but they're not connected. And so if you're wondering if we actually do have electricity, I'll bring you over here to this window air conditioner, which, as you can hear, it is right now running. The air conditioner is running off of the solar system. Okay, the whole house, in fact, runs off the solar system. There is no power. There's power available, but no power connected. So the power runs underground and comes up this 3-inch conduit. There's several lines, and I'll get into that as well. There's several lines that run through this 3-inch conduit, and one of them comes in to into the garage here, into this is where the line comes in from the attic. This is the line coming from the attic. It comes into this breaker box right here and on into that breaker, and that is a 63 amp breaker. The power comes from that breaker, comes down and into the solar charge controller, which as you can see right now, its production is about 13 amp. This is the voltage, 23.1 volt and 13 amp. There's my total production for the day, 5.3 kilowatts, and it's currently producing 0.31 kilowatt is what its current production is right now. It's in equalize, MPPT equalize, and then these are your function buttons. From the charge controller, it comes in here to the batteries. I've removed the cover off the battery so you can see what the batteries look like. They're set up in 24 volt. The negative side is over here and the positive side is over here. I have extra cable here and here that are for charging auxiliary batteries, and that's what this is, a 12 volt battery. And it's just hooked on with these clamps, which is just for charging. From here, from the batteries, the power goes into the inverter, and from the inverter then it goes up into this sub panel, and from this sub panel it goes back to the house. Okay, now there's another set of controls here, which is the generator. The backup generator sits down here. It's a natural gas fired 6500 watt generator. I have the this box right here, this is a fresh air duct, which the cooling air comes in from out here, and it comes in, and the cooling fan on the engine cools the engine, and then it blows the hot air back out. I have the hot air ducted back outside here, and that's where the hot air comes out, is that big white grate there. The generator is natural gas fired, and so the gas line comes in. It's this copper line right here, comes down behind the generator into this control valve right here, which is a solenoid operated 110 volt valve that turns the fuel on. When there is a call for the generator, well, what you'll see is these are relays. This little light will come on. See, that means that the generator's on call right now. Okay, this little light will come on. That trips this relay. There is actually a connector in here that this wire right here runs over and trips this relay, and that little light will come on, let you know that the generator is needed. Okay, from there, this Cat 5 cable is what's controlling that. See, right now we're in red stage, which our batteries are down. The sun's kind of starting to go down now with the air conditioning going, as expected. And so this is going to call for the generator. As soon as I flip this switch, the generator will start. Okay, that doesn't, I have this generator disabled right now intentionally. In fact, what I will do is I will change the generator setting. I will change it to off, and now this light has gone off, so now I will turn this switch on. Okay, now the generator is enabled. This is the test mode to test your lights. This is in off position, that is in the on position. So the system controller will call for the generator. Okay, it sends a signal through this Cat 5 cable to the inverter, and the inverter switches those two wires, which kicks this relay here, and that light will come on. When that relay kicks, it comes down here and it sends a signal to this is the computer engine controller, which I've got pictures of on my Google Plus site. Okay, there's a relay in here that turns on the fuel. The control for the fuel is 110 volt. 110 volt comes down from here into the relay. This kicks the relay, turns the fuel on. Okay, that fuel valve that we looked at. Then this has a timer in it, which is this bottom light right here. It says timer. And as soon as I kick this on, that timer light will come on, and then the generator will start. And these wires here control the start of the generator. One is a battery positive, which is powering this unit. The other is the control wire, which goes down to the starter, which is right here, this little green wire, which goes to the starter on the generator. And then the other two are for low oil pressure and high temperature shutdowns, emergency shutdowns. There's a couple sensors. There's a battery temperature sensor wire that goes down to the batteries, and a battery temperature sensor wire from the inverter that goes down to the batteries, and it just lets them know lets the charge controller and the inverter know what temperature the batteries are running at, so the batteries don't overheat. But everything is controlled by this unit right here. This little front plate comes off, and you've got all your advanced functions in here. These are all your system functions, which right now it's on inverting, that's what this is, inverting. This is the charger. This is the generator. This one is your events. Tells you, you can flip through and it'll tell you what events have transpired. This is your AC input, which right now is off, and this is your favorite settings. Okay, which I don't have any. I don't have any favorite settings on there right now. So I'll go back to the generator settings, and we'll go ahead and kick this on, and I'll show you what happens when the generator comes on. So right now it is set on manual. if you can see that, it is set on manual, and as soon as I push this button for auto, it will go to auto. Okay, now that's going to kick on in just a second. It's going to take 2 minutes. It's got a 2-minute standby, so in 2 minutes that light is going to kick on, and as soon as that light kicks on, this light will kick on, and then as soon as it's gone through the timing, then it will start the generator. So we'll give it a try here. This is a VFX 35, it says right here, VFX 3524. It's a vented FX series 3500 watt 24 volt, and so the system is wired in 24 volt. This is an Outback, these are both Outbacks, the whole system's an Outback system. This is an Outback FlexMax 60 charge controller, and then this is the Outback Mate 3 with the Ethernet connector. These three are all part of a, they're tied together, all controlled by the Mate 3. The charge controller will continue charging the batteries even when the generator is running. When the generator kicks on, it's going to feed power into the inverter, and the inverter has also got a transfer switch. It's going to transfer the house over to, instead of running off of the inverter, it'll be running off of the generator, and then it will start charging batteries, and that should be happening real quick now. I left enough space here when I wired this all up. I left enough space for another inverter, which I'm going to do in the future, because right now I've only got one 30 amp circuit coming out of here, and that's all I've got to run the whole house. If I had another inverter, I'd have two 30 amp circuits and a true 240 volt system, but right now I don't have that. All I've got is one 30 amp circuit, and so it's kind of a big load. Here it goes. Now that light has just kicked, and I just heard the fuel valve kick on, and now the generator is going to start. It's timing, and it'll start. It's qualifying the power, and it's going to switch over to running off the generator as soon as it's got a timer on it to let the generator warm up, and then the transfer switch will kick in. When the transfer switch kicks in, you'll see this go to solid, and you'll see the generator light come on, and the charger. The charger will kick on soon after. There goes the transfer switch is kicked on. We're now on AC. We've got the batteries charging, the generator is on. So the whole house is running off of the generator now, plus it's charging the batteries. So as the battery status very shortly here will switch. You can see the inverter is off right now. There he goes. Now we're up to the end of the yellow. So now you can check right here what our battery status is. It shows the output is 25.6 volts, 9.6 amp. That's what the panels are putting out. So at this time right now, both the panels and the generator are charging the batteries. So the batteries will come up in about an hour, hour and a half. But for now, the whole house is running off of the generator. And the reason why the whole house now is running on the generator is simply because of the fact of the air conditioning running. The system is a pretty small system. It's 6 kilowatt. You know, about 6 kilowatt per day is all this system is going to do. And the air conditioner is just it's pulling, you know, far too much. The generator kicks on every day at about this time because of that air conditioner. It just draws the batteries down as soon as the sun starts going down. You can see the sun still on the panels, but actually the panels, I'll take you around to the other side of the house. The sun is not on these panels on the other side of the house. They're really laid out to catch the sun in the morning, and later in the day like this they stop producing. And when that happens, then the batteries start to go down, and that's when the generator ends up kicking on. And so you can see the angle of the sun right now. Those two panels that are laying flat on the roof, they're not producing any power whatsoever. They're completely out of the sun. What I really need to do is add some more panels, and when that happens, I will add panels right on this section of the roof right here, and I'll put up at least another 2 panels, but that'll be sometime in the future. But that gives you an example of what the system looks like, how the system operates. In that breaker box where that relay is, there is right here a second relay, and this relay comes off of the thermostat on the central air conditioning, and it will also auto start the generator. So that's it for the system.